Welcome back, history enthusiasts. Today we're diving into an intriguing chapter of the past, filled with unlikely events and international tensions. Get ready to embark on a journey back to the mid-19th century, where a trivial pig incident sparked a bizarre border dispute between two world powers, the United States and the United Kingdom. We're talking about the Pig War, an unusual standoff that took place in the picturesque San Juan Islands, nestled between the US state of Washington and Canadian province of British Columbia. Join us as we unravel the long-term effects of the Pig War, how a simple dispute over a pig's fate transformed the Pacific Northwest, shaped US-UK relations, and set a powerful precedent for resolving international conflicts. Discover the impact of this often overlooked historical event on the region's development, trade, and the lives of indigenous peoples who called this land home. Through this captivating journey, we'll witness how the Pig War's legacy endures in the modern world, reminding us of the value of diplomacy and the importance of understanding history's fascinating twists and turns. So, hit that like button, subscribe and ring the notification bell to join us on this adventure into the forgotten tales of the past. Buckle up, history buffs, because the Pig War awaits, a clash of nations over a pig that forever changed the course of history. The Pig War was a peaceful confrontation that took place between the United States and the United Kingdom in the mid-19th century over a territorial dispute in the San Juan Islands, located between the modern-day state of Washington in the US and the province of British Columbia in Canada. The conflict derived its curious name from a trivial incident involving a pig, but its resolution played a crucial role in defining the boundary between the two nations in the Pacific Northwest. The roots of the Pig War can be traced back to the aftermath of the Oregon Treaty of 1846, which established the 49th parallel as the boundary between the United States and British North America, now Canada, from the Rocky Mountains to the Pacific Ocean. However, this treaty left the ownership of several islands in the Strait of Georgia and the Puget Sound region, including the San Juan Islands, unresolved. Both the United States and the United Kingdom claimed sovereignty over the San Juan Islands, which were strategically important due to their valuable natural resources, fertile land, and potential for maritime trade. The Hudson's Bay Company, a powerful British entity, had established a fur trading post on San Juan Island in 1845, further complicating the matter. The immediate cause of the Pig War was an unfortunate event that occurred on June 15, 1859. An American farmer named Lyman Cutler discovered a large black pig from the Hudson's Bay Company's farm on his property, destroying his crops. In a fit of anger, Cutler shot and killed the pig. The pig belonged to a British employee of the company, Charles Griffin, who was a blacksmith on the island. Griffin, understandably upset about the loss of his pig, filed a complaint with the British authorities, demanding compensation from the American farmer. The British authorities, eager to maintain their presence and influence in the region, took the matter seriously and sought redress for the pig murder under British law. They threatened to arrest Cutler and further escalated the situation by sending a warship, HMS Tribune, to San Juan Island. In response to the British show of force, the US government dispatched its own military forces to the region to protect American citizens and interests. The Americans sent General William S. Harney with a contingent of soldiers, and the British stationed Captain Geoffrey Phipps Hornby with 100 Royal Marines. Both sides found themselves in a precarious situation, with troops poised for confrontation, and the potential for an armed conflict loomed. However, the situation did not escalate into outright hostilities. Both commanders exercised restraint and avoided actions that might trigger a full-scale war between the two nations. Despite the tension and the presence of troops on both sides, no shots were fired during the months-long standoff. Instead, both American and British soldiers engaged in a unique form of diplomacy that involved polite gestures and mutual cooperation. The Americans even invited the British officers to social events such as 4th of July celebrations to ease tensions. Realizing the potential for a disastrous war over a mere pig, both the United States and the United Kingdom decided to pursue a diplomatic solution to the crisis. They agreed to maintain joint military occupation of the San Juan Islands while the territorial dispute was being resolved through diplomatic channels. In 1860, the two countries appointed an independent third-party arbitrator, German Emperor Wilhelm I, to settle the boundary issue definitively. The arbitrator's ruling, delivered on October 21, 1872, was generally in favor of the United States. The decision favored the U.S. claim that the main channel of the Strait of Juan de Fuca, which separated the islands from the mainland, should be the boundary line. The Pig War had several important consequences. Firstly, it demonstrated that both the United States and the United Kingdom were willing to use diplomatic means to avoid armed conflict, even when faced with tension and provocations. The resolution of the dispute through arbitration set a precedent for peaceful conflict resolution in international relations. Secondly, the Pig War solidified the 49th parallel as the established boundary between the US and Canada in the region, effectively ending disputes over the San Juan Islands and providing clarity to the border issue in the Pacific Northwest. Lastly, the standoff and subsequent arbitration increased tensions between the United States and Britain and highlighted the need for clearer border demarcations. This contributed to increased negotiations over border issues and further diplomatic discussions in the following decades. In conclusion, the Pig War showcased the importance of diplomacy and peaceful resolution in resolving territorial disputes and contributed to the establishment of stable and defined borders in the region. The resolution of the Pig War played a crucial role in defining the border between the United States and Canada in the Pacific Northwest. The arbitration decision in 1872 solidified the 49th parallel as the boundary from the Rocky Mountains to the Pacific Ocean, thereby resolving lingering territorial disputes in the region. The Pig War demonstrated to the world that even in the face of tense and potentially explosive situations, nations could choose diplomacy and peaceful conflict resolution over resorting to armed confrontation. Both the US and the UK showed restraint, and this peaceful resolution set a precedent for future disputes. While the Pig War itself did not result in a war, it highlighted the need for better defined borders and clearer communication between the two nations. It increased tensions between the United States and Britain in the Pacific Northwest, but ultimately, the diplomatic resolution helped strengthen overall relations between the two countries. The resolution of the Pig War meant that the San Juan Islands became part of the United States, removing the uncertainty over their ownership. This, in turn, solidified British Columbia's position as part of Canada and contributed to the growth of the Canadian province. With the boundary dispute resolved, it became easier for both the US and Canada to pursue economic development and territorial expansion in the Pacific Northwest. The removal of uncertainty and potential conflict allowed for increased investment and settlement in the region. The resolution of the Pig War solidified the US-Canada border, but it also meant that the indigenous peoples of the region faced further challenges regarding their lands and rights. As the two nations expanded into the Pacific Northwest, indigenous peoples often faced displacement, loss of territory, and suppression of their cultures and rights. The successful resolution of the dispute through international arbitration emphasized the importance and efficacy of using neutral third-party arbitrators in settling international conflicts. This helped set a precedent for future disputes, encouraging the use of diplomatic channels and peaceful means for resolving differences. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey through the forgotten pages of history. Remember, history is a treasure trove of stories waiting to be uncovered. Stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you soon with more riveting history content. Until next time, take care and farewell.